Welcome back, YouTube. I appreciate all of you guys for your comments on the last video, but we're going to take a little bit more in a closer detail here of this run for Doge and how we're closing in on this indicator. If you haven't seen the last video, which is the scenario for Doge going to $1.40, please watch it. It'll add some context for this video. But what we're looking at in a nutshell here is this 14 crossing the 72 and having that explosive reaction here. And I went into detail about the history and what happened last time. And that was the setup that ran us from around the 8 cent mark to 22 cent. And here we are threatening for the third time, not necessarily in this cycle, but from the third time since November, it has proven to mean significant upside for the coin. And right now we're riding roughly on the 14-day, which is this yellow line here. 72 is this orange line. And this is one of the reasons that you were seeing this resistance here at around the 15 cent mark. So right now, this green line that you're seeing here is 1536, right? So excuse me, where we are right now in price wise is 1536. This green line is roughly like 1521 or so. So the reason you're seeing us pretty much trending sideways is because typically if you're looking at zones and trading zone to zone, when you look at past price action in here, this zone here, we typically get strong moves to the upside, right? So even here on the uptrends here, we typically get some larger candles here because this is what propels us to test that 18 cent mark. For those of you that have been trading with me for a while, that was a big deal coming through here, and even here was breaking through that 18 cent mark. So it's not that we like to hang out in the middle of here, which is really good for setting off that alarm and giving us that run that we need to have this golden cross here between the 14 and 72 and to set us up for that next leg. So this is one of the things that we're seeing here. I would be surprised even if we're seeing a slight spike in shorts here, but overall they know to get out of the way. Bitcoin, I saw a notification just a few moments ago that it crossed 68,000. So we're getting the capital flowing into the market. We're doing absolutely fine holding on to this 14-day, using literally the 14-day. As you can see, it kind of rising here and a slight dip, but you'll see Doge using the 14-day as support, which is absolutely phenomenal. So really the next thing we need to do is just kind of break into this zone here, and then we can start getting some dates and some accurate time frames. I still have it roughly. I think we're going to have a very strong indication of it in the next week. I mentioned that on X, and so I'm sticking to that until I see otherwise. But as of right now, we're doing absolutely great, especially as long as Bitcoin is getting that capital flowing in. I don't see anything to threaten that run. Let's take a look here at shorts and see if I'm correct on that regard. And yep, I am. We have just a slight increase in shorts because they know how important that zone is and what that means overall for the price of the coin. So, once you learn the zones, you can kind of predict the shorts movement. They're not doing anything, ingenious, but they are aware of liquidity zones, news, the momentum. They typically are aware that sometimes you can catch them, slipping or whatever, and they'll get wrecked. But typically they're on top of things and they know when to get out of the way and when it's an important zone. So right now they know it's an important zone, but they're not spiking it. So you're not seeing candles similar to what we saw like February 29th or something like that, where they're just sending these moonshots of candles to short and trying to get in there because they don't want that exposure, because you never know if we're going to get one of those huge green candles and run to 16, 17 cent, and then they get wrecked here. So they're being careful, but they are trying to put some pressure there to prevent Dogecoin from going above that 15 cent mark there and getting that burst of liquidity. But with Bitcoin running, I think we're going to get it relatively soon. Let's take a look here at Bitcoin. I love it. So Bitcoin is riding the 72. So this candle here on May 15th is what's going to make the difference here going forward. So Bitcoin is now riding the 72. So this here is, as long as Bitcoin is sitting on the 72, which it has been for the last 4 days, this is a guaranteed golden cross for Bitcoin from the 14 and the 72, right? What does this mean? Well, let's look at the last time this happened. This happened here Last time this happened, the 14 to 72 crossed was this February 5th, February 6th, right? Bitcoin was at 42,000, right? Immediately, right? An immediate run to the all-time high, right? So immediate run to like 74,000, right? So we're talking about a $30,000 increase in price. We repeat that, we're looking at six-figure Bitcoin. So this is why I've been following this indicator very closely over the last few weeks, because this has been very telling for this cycle here. And with Bitcoin, even right now, running above it, we're going to have this golden cross has to happen, like a 14 and 72. This is going to happen as long as we're at these levels here. So that's going to be a big signal for the crypto market, right? And we're going to see this here play out and get those ripple effects for the 14 and the 72 for the market and capital coming in, because you'll see this, that all the coins, especially the top 10, they've been following this. Even the total market cap, right? We're talking about all liquidity in the market. Same thing here, right? We have total market cap, which is obviously made up mostly of Bitcoin, but you'll see that total market cap, because this is weighted with other cryptos, and even with the weight of all the cryptos, right? We still have this cross here of the total market cap around 1.578 trillion, and we get a run to 2.71 trillion. And right now, even with the weight of all the other cryptos, the total market cap is hovering around the 72-day, which is around 2.3 trillion, right? This here, as long as we're up here, that's a guaranteed cross of the 1472 and a golden cross on the total market cap, right? That means we can expect there to be additional liquidity coming into the market, right? It almost doubled from here, right? So we're doing this again. That puts us at an all-time, I think the all-time high for capital in the crypto market is around 4 trillion. So we repeat this process, we're looking at an all-time high, not only in Bitcoin, but an all-time high in total market cap for the entire crypto market, right? So we're looking at literally making history again for the crypto market here. So this is one of the reasons why I'm expecting there to be some price action, very big price action here within the next week or so. And we're getting a lot of evidence of that across the board. Let's take a look here. Let's see, because BTC shorts are typically more intelligent than the Doge ones. Let's see if we're seeing, well, they're not even, they've been running out at a much more aggressive rate than Doge shorts. And you'll see even here, the 14, you've been getting death crosses since, what is this? About a week ago, right? So, but they, even now, they were in a position, but now they're coming out of it. So, yeah, which I imagine it makes sense, because, you know, if Bitcoin is running and it's almost at 70,000, so this candle here, it's obviously still live. It hasn't closed yet, but it'll probably close red for the day. So you'll probably see 3 consecutive days here where this is red. So not contradicting anything that we've looked at in this video. It's looking very promising that we're going to get that run here within like the next week or so. So I'm loving it. It's looking good. Let's see. And one thing that we're typically waiting on is to break into this zone here. But like I said, we get those big catalysts here, or people start taking positions here because Bitcoin starts closing in on like 70K or something, then we will see a bigger candle, which is normal for this range here. Last time we broke into this range, we went to 17 cent, and then we closed at 16. We bounced from 14 to 1661. Let's see, from 15 to 1750, but we closed at 1528. Excuse me, to 1811, and then we closed at 1774. 15 to 1843. So yeah, we have a very good shot once we close in this range, or break into this range. We don't know when it's going to happen. We've closed it here a couple of times, but they managed to get it red like the next day. We don't know when that candle is coming, but we have done this a few times where we get a very massive explosion in price action here, which is going to position us, because ultimately what we're looking for is something similar to what is done in the past and get us somewhere around that 1630 mark, right? I'll say 1630, and that's going to position us. So that's right now, that's the target for Doge, is the 1630 mark, because that's going to put us in position to price action wise. So even if the indicator is lagging behind a few days, that us holding 1630 around that range is going to position us to have that golden cross, so that we can get that explosive price action and be in tune with the market here, which I believe is going to happen. Doge follows relatively closely to the capital here. Bitcoin is normal for Bitcoin to run first. I know previously, earlier this year, everything was running simultaneously, but that was abnormal, right? So Bitcoin running to 72,000 first, and then the other coins running, that is actually a normal pattern. So that's kind of what we can expect going forward. We can tune that in with some of like the macro events. And this is one of the things I was talking about in my last video. I believe because this is an election year, we're going to get that mysterious pump in the overall markets around Q3, Q4. And, this mysterious aura that comes in, and, oh, the economy is doing great, so the typical things that happen when presidents are running for re-election. So I think that will kind of help as well in the crypto market. So that's going to position us to have that blow off top somewhere either later in the year or early 2025, right? So we pretty much start the ascension now. And then when things start to go like really parabolic, we'll be charting it, and that with volume and all that kind of good stuff, to kind of get an idea of like where the top's going to be. But we can expect that normally to be later in the year or early 2025, right in line with history, unless we get some wild indicators on the macro that can indicate a top sooner. But obviously we'll be charting that, and if that's something that I see, then I will report back to you guys. So let me know what you guys think. We are getting confirmations and signals all across the board that we are setting up for this big run to the upside, this next leg in the market. I'm excited. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Also, with this run coming up, I'm still setting a goal to try and beat Bitcoin to 100,000. We are coming down to it right now. I'm not going to panic until we get to around like 85, 90,000 with Bitcoin. But certainly if we get this golden cross, then now we're down to the wire. So if you want to help with that, please consider subscribing to the channel as we chart these things and kind of come to the conclusion here of the next leg up, and then we'll see ultimately where that takes us, and then we kind of get an idea for that blow off top. But if you'd like to help and be a part of that and chart that with me, certainly consider subscribing, leave me a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.